Hi boys and girls, you should have just finished listening to the story, One Cool Friend, watching a video all about penguins, and you should have finished watching the Art Hub video of how to draw an emperor penguin. If you haven't done those steps, go back and do those 3 steps first, because in order to do the science activity with your penguin, you'll need to have your picture drawn. Okay, here we go. Remember in the video you just watched where it gave you true facts about penguins? It talked about how penguins spend a lot of time in the water. It said they were aquatic, which means they spend a lot of time in the water. Now, in order to stay warm in those cold, frigid waters, they have a lot of blubber or fat. They also have something very important that they produce to keep their feathers dry. Remember that special oil it talked about in that movie? This oil helps to waterproof their feathers, which means that their feathers don't soak in water, instead they repel it. We're going to do a science activity to show you how their feathers and using that oil repel water. You're going to need your emperor penguin picture that you just drew watching the Art Hub for Kids video. Once you have your picture finished, you're going to need your picture and a white crayon. Grab those supplies because that's what you'll need. If you need to pause this video, that's fine. Just pause it and then come on back, okay? All right, this is what we're going to do. You're going to take your white crayon and you're going to color over the top of your penguin picture. Now, you need to make sure you put a thick layer of your white crayon over the top of your penguin picture. I'll show you how this is going to work. Here's the penguin that I drew while I watched the Art Hub for Kids video. I'm going to take my white crayon and I'm going to color a thick layer over the top of my penguin everywhere. Now, if you're really proud, I just broke my crayon. If you're really proud of your picture and you don't really feel like coloring over the top of it with a white crayon, that's okay. You can just watch the science video with me and I'll color over mine. It needs a very thick layer of white crayon. You can tell I was pushing pretty hard with my white crayon because it broke. Hopefully your crayon doesn't break, but you definitely need to make sure you have a very thick layer of white crayon all the way over your penguin. You'll notice that it's kind of smearing the colors that I used to color my penguin. That's okay. This is going to help our science activity work. So take that white crayon and color a solid layer of white crayon over the top of your penguin. Now it's so important that your penguin is completely covered with white crayon wax. So if you need to go over your penguin a couple of times to make sure that you have covered all the paper, that's okay. Go ahead and do that. All right, awesome. My penguin looks like he's pretty well covered. I kind of like the way those colors look as I colored over them with a white crayon. Now, you're going to need a spray bottle with water. So you need to ask your mom or someone at home if you have a spray bottle. That's going to be the next thing we're going to need. Okay. Now, you should have finished coloring over the top of your penguin with your white crayon, and you should now have a water bottle. It doesn't matter what kind of water bottle. This is my water bottle. You're just going to need a water bottle to spray a little bit of water on top of your picture. You can leave the water clear or you can dye the water blue. I don't have food coloring here at school, so I'm just going to leave the water clear. You'll take your water bottle and you're going to spray a quick spray over the top of your penguin, and look what happens. You'll notice, I'm going to make the camera go a little closer. Anywhere that I didn't have the white crayon, the water saturated or soaked into my paper. It got the paper wet, but look at my penguin. You can see these little what look like water bubbles. The penguin is repelling the water. It means that the water can't make the penguin wet. The wax crayon we covered our penguin in acts as a repellent to waterproof our penguin. That's pretty amazing. Boys and girls, I hope you had fun exploring this concept of science with me today. Just like the video talked about, penguins can live in some pretty cold places, swimming in some really frigid cold waters. But they have ways to help them survive. They have that blubber, that fat that keeps them warm, but they also have this oil that they produce, and they cover their feathers in it, and it helps repel water. When you repel something, you keep it away or you keep it at bay, right? So it keeps the water from soaking into their feathers, making them cold and wet. Instead, it keeps them dry and warm. So that oil is so important. We tried to see how that oil works by using a crayon. Now, this isn't exactly how a penguin stays dry, but it's a great way for us to see firsthand what it would be like if we had a real penguin, right? The wax from our white crayon coated the top of our drawing. Our drawing is covered in this wax. That wax acts as a repellent. It keeps the water from soaking into our penguin that we drew. It's showing us how those oils on the penguin's body would work, but being able to do it at home, right, with a crayon. Anywhere where there wasn't wax, you could tell my paper got wet and it's starting to wrinkle and curl. But wherever there was the wax, the water wasn't able to penetrate. It repelled it, and it kept the penguin, that portion of my penguin picture, dry. So it's pretty amazing that penguins have this oil that helps repel water and keeps them dry as they swim and hunt for food in cold, frigid waters. I hope you had fun learning about penguins. I know I did. It's super fun to learn about animals and to learn some amazing things about nature, and of course to do some science exploration. I'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend. Bye.